28 days to go to what quite possibly could be the biggest WrestleMania in the modern era. Welcome to your WrestleMania update with me, the Awesome Truth. WrestleMania is so close now, and it really seems like such a long build up, because we've been waiting for over a year for the main event of John Cena and The Rock. But it seems like in the last 2 or 3 weeks that WWE's focus has gone more towards the Hell in a Cell encounter between The Undertaker and Triple H. Now what I mean like that is that like more people in the company seem to be talking about that, and focus switched a lot to that in the last 3 weeks. Maybe because The Rock wasn't there, but even when The Rock was there this week, you had the 5-minute videoette. Jerry Lawler and Cole were going on about it. I watched SmackDown, they were going on about Hell in a Cell as well, and it just seemed like they're trying to build that as a big match, as an end of an era match. Now my problem with that is that you can't really build this as an end of an era if an era is already dead. The Attitude Era, the Bischoff Era, whatever you want to call it, what these guys were a part of, their era is already dead. It's dead, it's gone. They're not going to go out and have a match like 1999, 2000. They're just simply not. WWE is PG now, and they're not going to change that for one match. I would love them to, but I really cannot see WWE taking a different stance towards this one match when there was better and bigger opportunities to take a different stance. And before we go any further, I would just like to say that it's absolutely a relief that WWE have released a statement saying that Shaquille O'Neal, whatever you want to call him, will not be involved in WrestleMania. This would have been a horrible thing, because like you have a big time WrestleMania now, and what they're actually doing now, I respect a lot. They're really putting so much focus in the wrestling matches. There's no celebrity being announced, and hopefully there will not be any announced, because this needs to be a star-studded and an awesome WrestleMania, because I think a lot is riding on this WrestleMania for WWE. They're after throwing so much at it. Like, you cannot do Triple H and Taker next year after Hell in a Cell. You simply can't. You would not be able to get the same kind of emotional investment with The Rock and Cena if you do it again next year. I don't care if they have a match in between and it becomes a rubber match. The first time is always the big time. Jericho and CM Punk, I think, will be off the hook to see something from Booker T. I'm not going to see much from him, because quite frankly there's not much more to steal, but that's really what I think is going to be the match of the night. I know not a lot of people are going to be thinking down that lines, but I really think that these two guys have the ability and have the hunger and have the passion to go and steal the show, because like this is going to get some ridiculous buys. I know people for years that have stopped watching wrestling, and they're going to order WrestleMania for The Rock. The Rock, everyone is saying The Rock is bad. Look, just forget your opinions for 2 seconds and look at this as a pure business standpoint, and a pure professional as well. If you're a performer and you're going to WrestleMania, The Rock is doing 2 things. He's going to get more buys, which is more exposure for the wrestlers, because without The Rock, WrestleMania was struggled to get 1 million buys. Now I say it can get 1.5 million buys with The Rock, because he is that big of a draw. I'm not saying he's the only one. If Austin came back, he would bring that kind of, I mean Austin to wrestle. I know he came back to referee, but if he came back to wrestle, he would get that kind of buys as well. But The Rock will bring that. He will bring media attention, the likes of which would never have been there if The Rock wasn't involved, which means a bigger paycheck for the wrestlers. I really don't get why these wrestlers are complaining so much about The Rock. Personally, I love The Rock, but I'm just not thinking about that right now. I'm thinking, if I'm a wrestler and if I'm on this WrestleMania card with the extra exposure, with people going to be watching it from all around the world that probably haven't watched WWE in the last 5-6 years, I want to go and steal the fucking show. I want to show them that I'm the next Rock, that I'm the next Austin, that I'm the next Undertaker. And that's what these wrestlers should be striving for, but too much of them are sitting back bitching and crying about The Rock, saying, why is he coming back? Well, he's coming back for the money. Listen, The Rock last year made close to $50 million. He's getting paid $1 million to do WrestleMania and all the Raws before. Are you really telling me The Rock is coming back for the money? Fuck no. The Rock doesn't need to come back for the money. The Rock doesn't need to come back full stop. But he came back because he loves the business, and I know not a lot of people will agree with this statement, but The Rock genuinely loves wrestling. If you grow up with something for that long, you're going to find a love for it. The Rock never had to come back. The Rock proved everything. The Rock would have went down as one of the greatest wrestlers of all time if he never came back. He's after coming back now. And see, the strange thing that always kind of gets to me is that it's the Cena fans that are giving out so much about The Rock, but The Rock is actually back to help Cena, to get Cena to that next level, to get him to the heights of what Rock, Austin, Hulk Hogan, all of them got. Cena doesn't have that. Yes, he's the biggest WWE star, but in this day and age of this media that thinks the way it does about wrestling, to be the biggest star in WWE is not really a big accomplishment. Doesn't have the worldwide exposure and the fan base that it used to have. You go back to the days of the Nitro and Raw nights. There was nearly 10 million people a night watching wrestling. Now they're happy if there's only 4. That's a big drop in 10 years. A huge drop. And yet, see, the big problem with it, and you can blame Cena till the cows come home. God knows I blame him enough. But the real problem is in the backstage. They got really sloppy and they just put so much on Cena. And I'll be honest, I'm a Cena hater, but I'm saying this as a wrestling fan. The gamble really didn't pay off. Cena never took WWE to them heights. And I don't think he ever could with the character he had. Even if he stayed heel, I think he was always just destined to be a glorified mid-carder that wins the belt here and there every couple of months. I don't think he was the right guy for that position. He was not the guy to carry the company, not a hope in hell, and the proof is in the pudding, as they say. Look at WWE in the last 3 or 4 years. It's slowly but surely falling. Who saved WWE? The Rock and CM Punk. And CM Punk had to do with something that WWE didn't even want to happen. Yes, they gave the go ahead, but are you telling me that Vince McMahon actually sat down and said, give Punk a microphone? He didn't use balls. Punk had to go out and fight to do that promo, and look what it became. He became an instant star, something that WWE for nearly 6 years couldn't do with CM Punk. They couldn't get him to this level, yet they gave him a live mic and he went down and do it, and still they still handcuff people. I don't get that. Austin was never handcuffed. The Rock, Triple H, all of the Kurt Angle, even Kurt Angle was never handcuffed. They were never handcuffed. They were given a live mic and go sink or swim, and you would see who would sink and you would see who will swim. And that's the thing. If you handcuff people and write their promos and do everything for them, when the shit hits the fan and when they need to step up that extra gear, they won't know how to do it because they're after being coddled for the last couple of years. Well, it is going to be interesting to see what happens on March 18th, as well, as there is reports coming out that not only will Triple H be performing in Madison Square Garden, it just says Triple H in action, by the way, it doesn't really give an opponent, but also it says that Zack Ryder will be fighting Jack Swagger for the United States Championship. Now, I really feel so bad for Zack Ryder. I really do, because this is a fella for 9 months worked his ass off. He put it himself and it couldn't be true in what he said. He made the videos. He was either going to get discovered or he was going to get fired. And he got discovered and the fans got behind him. Now, remember a while ago when I said I don't like John Cena? This is why I don't. Back in June, July, when Zack Ryder wasn't hot, when only fans were getting a small bit into Zack Ryder. CM Punk called for Ryder to get the push. And even when he invaded Comic-Con, he called for Ryder to make the push. Ryder then starts getting chants out of the building, and they realise that this is just not the internet fans anymore. This is fans going to shows that want to see Ryder. And then all of a sudden, you see the broskies, John Cena, just around Zack Ryder so much. It was pathetic at times. It was absolutely pathetic when you see John Cena just trying to get some love off the fans that were loving Zack Ryder. So the geniuses in WWE decided, you know what we do? We don't want Zack Ryder over, but we do want John Cena over. We do want Eve over, and we want Kane over. So in this whole storyline that went for nearly 10 weeks, look at WrestleMania. Cena's gone on to face The Rock. Kane is probably going to go on to face Randy Orton. In fact, I would put my life on that. And not as confident, but I'm probably 70-30 sure that Eve will face Kelly Kelly at WrestleMania. And Zack Ryder has missed 10 weeks. He's missed his spot at the Royal Rumble, and he's probably going to miss his chance at WrestleMania. Now, looking at the house shows around that time when you do see Jack Swagger and Zack Ryder, I say you could be looking at Zack Ryder and Jack Swagger might be the pre-match. That's not good enough. I'm sorry, but WWE have always had this motto: work your ass off for the year and you will get rewarded. Triple H said it in that promo with CM Punk 6 days before Night of Champions back last year, that if you embrace and get the WWE universe behind you, you will be rewarded. Dolph Ziggler has worked his ass off for the whole year. So has Zack Ryder. Jack Swagger has improved. Kofi Kingston, R-Truth. And yet, Big Show has been out for 60% of the year. And even when he came back, he just used the rest of them pay-per-views. Kane has been gone for a good chunk of the year as well. And yet these two come back and they get a WrestleMania match. Both get singles matches. Mark Henry is another one that worked his ass off, was on every SmackDown, worked his bone when he was World Heavyweight Champion. And at WrestleMania, he'd be lucky if he gets stuck into some stupid tag match about Teddy Long and John Laurinaitis. I love that feud. I just hate to see so much people that deserve better at WrestleMania going to go into a stupid ass tag team match. Well, the only really bit of news to report about WrestleMania is that Wayne Barrett was scheduled to win Money in the Bank this year, but since his injury by Paul White, the man that injured him is now going to go and wrestle for the Intercontinental Champion in a one-on-one match. He was scheduled to win Money in the Bank. And since he's injured, WWE never realised, hey, let's just give it to somebody else. They've decided to scrap it. So there will not be a Money in the Bank at Sunlight Stadium in Miami, Florida. And when it was 6 men, I used to love Money in the Bank. When it went to 8, it was okay. But when they brought it to 10, it did seem like a clusterfuck. It's very hard to do a match with 10 men in a ladder match, especially when it's not tag team, because at least with tag team you could have people working here, there, everywhere. But like when you have 10 singles, it's just a big clusterfuck. Well, that is my WrestleMania 28 update. We are now 28 days away from WrestleMania 28, ironically. I hope you enjoy Monday Night Raw. I should be back Tuesday with another video. There will be some WrestleMania recalls Sunday and Monday. I'm hoping to get 25, 24, 23 and 22 done over the next 2 days, because I love to get the whole WrestleMania lot reviewed before I head to Miami. I'm leaving the Wednesday before it, so there won't be any updates around WrestleMania time. It should be interesting because I'm liking where they're going with a few of these storylines. It's just that a few things are irritating me, that people that work their ass off the whole year don't get on the card, and yet people that were clumsy and fucking taking time off come back and get it. And I know people are gonna say, oh, you defended The Rock at the start of this video. Different story. The Rock has come back to get pay-per-view buy rates. Are you telling me that that WrestleMania is going to get an extra few buy rates because the Big Show and Kane are on the card? You really telling me people are going to sit down at home? I'm not ordering WrestleMania. Holy shit, the Big Show's on the card. I'm ordering that. No. And it's bad that people that work their ass off for the whole year to get better, to improve, are shunned on the biggest stage of them all, with people that took the year off and never got better when they came back, and got clumsy and injured people. He's after injuring 3 people. Kane has done nothing but fucking talk about embracing the hate since he come back, and these 2 guys are on the WrestleMania card. It's fucking horseshit.
Saddle me up and let's begin. I am a wild one, tame me now. Running with wolves and I'm on the prowl.